Hi everyone, today's video is a Valentine's Day makeup and hair tutorial. I'm doing two looks, a day look and a night look. This is the night look. So I'm just brushing out my greasy e.l.f. hair and putting it up into a ponytail. Then I use a blonde hair donut. It's actually quite large. You can get smaller ones, and use a stretchy headband to hold it in place. And I look kind of like an octopus, so I just sort of start twisting the hair around the donut. Also, you don't have to use this hairstyle for the day look. It can be a bit too fancy, but it's whatever you prefer. And then you twist it around and hold it in place with some bobby pins. It looks a little lopsided, so just kind of pull it out. Then my dog needed to go out of the room, so I let her. Then secure any loose strands in place with a couple of bobby pins. Okay, I'm using some primer for my face for the day look. I use a new blending beauty sponge with some BB cream. And I didn't realise until after I've filmed this video that you're actually supposed to bounce it off your face instead of rubbing it in. And that's why it wasn't working so much, so I had to use like 2 layers of BB cream, which is kind of not what it's for. And I gave up with the sponge, so I used my hands anyway. Next I'm using Fifth Avenue Concealer by Kmart. It's the first time I'm using it and it's pretty good. It's a redness correcting concealer and it did alright. Then I use a flawless fluffy concealer brush with some fair coloured concealer and I sort of blend out over the green. I use a chapstick to chap my lips for the lipstick coming up. I then brush my eyebrows to prep them for the e.l.f. powder. Because it's a day look, I thought I'd go with some soft brows. And then I brush them out again and shape them. I then use the darker pink all over my lid. And then say goodbye to my parents because they were leaving. I then use the brown colour in the crease. This palette's by CoverGirl. I used it in my very first video actually. Then I grabbed an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette and used the dark brown just for the crease and the outer third of the lid. And also under my eyes. Then I grabbed the light pink and put that in the inner third of the lid. Then I use a Rimmel eyeshadow palette and I just use the white. It's really shimmery, so I really like it using for highlighting under the brow bone, but also the inner corners of my eyes. Then I use a designer brand's eyeliner pencil. It's pretty simple to use on your top lash line, but I found it quite difficult to do the wings, which you'll see in a second. The first one went fine, but then the second one, it just really wasn't working, so I had to start again. But then my iPad cut out, so I did it without, you see? Now I'm doing the lashes. I grab Designer Brands mascara, and that's my first mascara that I use. I use it on the lower lashes as well. Then I grab a Maybelline mascara and put that all over, because this volumizes. Then I get out any clumps using the hard bristled end. And I get some under eye concealer. Put that in a triangle shape underneath the eyes. And use the same concealer brush to buff it and blend it out. Then I use this colour correcting palette. It's actually not that great, but I used a little bit of the red powder underneath the eyes, and it also sets the concealer as well. Then I get some face powder and a total face brush and just start buffing that in all over. And I felt a hair on my face, so I had to get that off. Use the same brush as I used for the concealer for the contouring. I take this warm brown colour and just start contouring. And then I didn't even notice, but I should have blended that in a little bit better, which is so bad. And just under the jawline as well. Then I take a nude tone, and sort of use that as a blush. Then I take this lip primer, just blend it in with my fingers. And I use this very creamy lipstick, and it's like a pinky nude colour, and it's really nice. And I don't want to make it matte because it's really nice creamy colour. So I just leave it as it is, and that's the finished day look. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Then I have to take it all off, and here's me with my bare face, same primer, and I'm pretty sure I used the rest of it up and I got sad about it. And it looks like I'm talking to myself, but I'm singing. I had music on in the background. Then I take some foundation and the blending sponge again. And again, I put on 2 layers of this foundation, partly because I didn't realise that you had to bounce the beauty sponge instead of rub, but also for a slightly heavier coverage. Then I take the chapstick again and just prep that for the lipstick. Gotta do them eyebrows. And I use the gel this time with the angled brush that comes with it. And I made a bit of a mess. And I clean it up. And then I use the powder to set the gel. And as you can see, it's definitely darker or more defined or whatever than the day look. I take the white end and I use this as an eyeshadow primer. And I realised using a blending brush wasn't doing anything, so I just used my fingers to blend it out. do it in the inner corners as well. I take this, it looks grey, but it's like a grey brown, and I use that in the crease and build it up. And then I use the light pink from the same palette before, just as a base. And then I take the same dark brown as before and use it in the crease and the outer third. And the reason why I used the light pink as a base is because you'll see the product that I use next is the NYX Roll-On Shimmer. It is so pretty. I love it so much. And then just clean it up with a Q-tip, make it nice and neat. Then I use the white shimmery shadow again on the brow bone and the inner corners of my eyes. Oh, and I forgot, I did put the brown under the eyes like last time. Then I take this gel eyeliner and just do a simple line at first, but then I did winged eyeliner, which my iPad cut out again, so you don't get to see me do the wings, which I actually had a lot of trouble with, and it was so frustrating, so I guess it's better that you don't see that. And that's the eyes done, well, the shadow done. Now I just take a different curler because that last curler did Jack S-H-I-T. Then I take my favourite Inox waterproof mascara. I just find it holds my lashes a lot better if I use this one first. And just clean up the messes I make. I'm using a new mascara which I got, which is NYX. It's also waterproof. This is the second time I'm using it, and I quite like it actually. It doesn't clump too badly, and I put that on the bottom lashes as well. Gotta do that other eye. And I made a mess again. Told you, I'm like the worst person at making messes with mascara. So I clean it up. And also clean up under the eyes or bottom lash line and take out any clumps I may have. Then I use the Designer Brands mascara simply to just lengthen it, so I only use it on the very tops of my lashes. Then I use the white eyeliner again on the bottom lash line. And I take the black and I put it on the top waterline. And I actually forgot to do it, so I filmed this right at the very end. That's why my lips and the rest of my face is done. Then I do the exact same under eye concealer. And then I take the red powder again. I actually did the exact same like normal face concealer as before, but I thought I wouldn't bother to put it in. So now I'm using the highlighter and just rub it in with my finger because I feel like a brush doesn't really do well with this sort of product. Then I take the same contour kit and use the warm brown shade, except I use a different brush this time to give me a more sort of defined look because it's a angled bronzer brush. And I blend it in better this time, and you'll see at the end of the video. I think I built it up a little too much, as you can see. I realised just then. but I just go along with it anyway. Then I take the same nude shade, well actually this one's more pinky, so I use it as a bit of a blusher as well. Then I take the dupe banana shade and just use that as a highlighter. Then I take a face powder, an inglot face powder, and just buff that in everywhere, which is then blending in my contouring. And then I shape my brows again because doing the face powder at the end, I then have to reshape my brows. Then I use the same lip primer and the same lipstick again. So this is the finished nighttime look, and I hope you all enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.